You know what time it is?
What?
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. All right, Joe. Picture this. You're at the grocery store. You've got your snacks, your drinks, maybe some frozen pizza for a solid Friday night. You're feeling good, right?
But yeah, living the dream until you hit the parking lot. And there he is.
You know who I'm talking about. That guy. The one who's walking straight down the middle of the parking lot like he's Moses parting the Red Sea.
Blocking cars like he's in the slowest parade of all time. What's he celebrating, Curtis? Being inconsiderate?
And it's not like he doesn't know. He knows. He hears the car creeping behind him.
He hears it. He even glances back. And what does he do? He slows down, like he's thinking, I'll let you wait while I bask in my grocery haul.
Meanwhile, I'm over here like, Sir, can you at least pretend to care about the rest of us?
And don't get me started on the zigzagging. 1 second you think you can pass him on the left. Nope. He veers left. Then the right, blocked again.
Look, it's not that hard. Just move over to the side. Treat the parking lot like a road. Stay in your own lane.
Exactly. You don't see me walking down the center of a highway, do you? No, because I'm not a lunatic.
Although, now I kind of want to see you try that. Just Joe strolling down I-25, waving to all the honking cars.
I'd still get out of the way faster than this guy.
So listen, folks, don't be that guy. The middle of the parking lot is not your personal sidewalk.
It's not a red carpet. It's not a catwalk. It's a parking lot, and people have places to be.
Move to the side. Let the cars pass, and maybe, just maybe, you'll avoid being featured in the next Don't Be That Guy.
Because trust me, you don't want us talking about you. We're ruthless.
I go ham on a bullet beat combined to Il Rio. Call the homies up and make tracks with my people. Cause when we join forces, we know that he is with us. We talk to him and keep a strong witness. So when I say I'ma take you to church, I really take you to church.
Gotta love that guy, don't you, Curtis?
There's that guy in every crowd.
You ever experience that?
All the time. I think that guy follows me around everywhere I go, actually.
It's like your little guy on your shoulder talking to you. Like, go left.
I know, like, do you ever feel like you're on that movie, The Truman Show? Remember that one with Jim Carrey? Where it's like people are watching him and he's really on a TV show?
That's that guy.
That guy. That's how I feel half the time.
Yep. Well, here we go. Episode 23.
All right.
Stand corrected.
What are we going to talk about today?
Man, we've been all over this world talking about the lovely places we're going to be and been, and you wanted to chat a little bit about the great state of Hawaii.
Hawaii. Have you ever been?
Never.
Never?
Not at all.
You got to get there, man.
How many times have you been?
I've been 3 times.
That's it?
Yeah.
I feel like you're going once a year.
I wish I was. We did go once a year there for 2 years. I think we may try to get out there this next fall.
After your great trip to the Caribbean or Caribbean?
After my trip to the Caribbean and the Florida coast, which I'm equally looking forward to, by the way.
Equally. Well, how many states have you been to in Hawaii?
Well, there's only one state of Hawaii.
Duh.
There's several different islands.
How many of the islands have you been to?
Well, I've been to Maui. I've been to Kauai. I've been to Hilo, the big island. I've been to not Honolulu, Oahu. Those are the 4 I've been to.
What was your favorite one?
You know, I really like Oahu because it's got Honolulu, which is your big city. It's got Waikiki Beach. There's just so much more to do there. It's like, to me, Honolulu is like all of the islands. There's some of each island in that one. They're all very different.
So out of all the places you just named, how many islands is that?
4.
That's all 4, so you've been to all 4?
Those are the 4 that I've been to. There's a couple more in there that
How
I
many
haven't
are there?
been. I think there's 5 or 6 in there.
Is there that many?
Pretty sure. There's one that's not really a tourist destination.
Is that where
But,
they throw all the dangerous snakes?
Do you know there's no snakes in Hawaii?
I knew.
No. And you know, every time I've been there, I've not seen a single mosquito.
You don't think they transplant them in off the ships, the cargo?
You know, there's something about it. Maybe it's just because it's got that ocean breeze all the time, and I've never seen or been bit by a mosquito there. Or a bug, for that fact.
In there.
What's that?
The murder hornets, they're on their way.
Yeah, the Asian murder hornets.
So in Honolulu, did you guys stay on the beach?
We did for one night. We stayed in Waikiki. The other night we stayed more on the opposite end of the island. I guess it'd be the north end of the island. And it's a little bit more out of the big city, but it's still a resort area. And it had a private beach and a nice pool, and the resort was gorgeous.
And so, honestly, did you go surfing? Because I know the surfing's big out there.
You know, I'm not that crafty on a surfboard. I think you've heard my surfboard story or my paddleboard story from when I was in the Keys. Didn't I tell you about that?
No, let's hear
it. The time I got stranded and was paddling to save my life. Because
I did hear this, but
when the tide was coming in, I think it was one of our earlier episodes. We talked about that. But no, you know,
refresh my memory.
Well, I was in the Florida Keys one time and went out on a paddleboard, and I was with some friends, and we were going out to a sandbar that was probably 150 yards out, and we get about halfway there, and the current started to pick up more and more as the sun was going down. It was like the tide was coming in. So I'm paddling, swimming my butt off, and I decided to turn around and go back because I was exhausted from this swim already. And I'm maybe 60, 70 yards out. And I turn around and start paddling back, and I'm having to swim with all my might just to keep the hotel in my line of path because the tide was pulling me the opposite direction. So it was probably one of the hardest swims I ever did. And the sun was going down, and I'm thinking, okay, and I'm on this stupid board, about like a surfboard, and I'm thinking, you know, every shark attack movie I've ever seen happens just like this. So, and that's the long story short.
You made it out.
I made it out alive. I stepped on a sea urchin on the way out of there and had to dig those spikes out of the back of my foot.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang, dude, you get all messed up in the...
I do, dude. I know. People get into these crazy situations with people. I don't know why.
And you get poked. I mean, we talked about the catfish story last week.
Yeah, it was with the same people, actually. But, Hawaii's great, man. I'm not into surfing, you know, but I do love to hang out on the beach and get in the water. The water is warm. You know, and we talked about last time how certain sides of the island usually have a stronger current.
Does that happen in Hawaii?
It does. If you've heard of the North Shore of Hawaii, that's where all the big waves come in. They have the huge surfing tournaments.
Yeah.
Like professional stuff, like huge waves. We went and saw that, and I don't think I'd even attempt to swim in that. It was so crazy. But the site we stayed on was real calm waters, a lot like you described at Coco Cay. Warm water. I mean, you could chill in there, and it was like you didn't even get a chill, and that initial chill from getting in the water.
So was that Waikiki Beach?
Waikiki Beach is that way. Not real sure what the name of the beach we were at was in. It was close to a town. Gosh, I'm trying to think. I can't remember what the town was. It was a small town. It was close to Lahaina town in Maui. Waikiki's in Honolulu. But this last time we stayed on Maui.
Did you happen to go explore like Pearl Harbor? I know you're the best like history guy.
Yeah, man. I couldn't go into Honolulu without going to Pearl Harbor.
Now I've heard stories like you gotta take the ferry in. Is that true?
You know, the Navy. It's actually it's a state park, but the Navy operates the memorial. So you get there and you actually have to get on a Navy registered boat. I guess you could call it a ferry boat. And you ride this ferry over to the memorial, but it's got Navy sailors driving it. And when you get out there, you know, you've heard how the USS Arizona, it still leaks oil. So when you get out there, you can actually smell the oil. And it's diesel fuel, really, and see it coming up to the surface.
And so what's the exhibit like?
You walk in and you can look down on the Arizona, and most of it's been taken away, but the hull of the ship and the main deck are still there. And you can see everything clearly through the water. The water's crystal clear. And then you walk to one end, the opposing end, and there's a huge room where they've got all the names of the sailors that were on the Arizona engraved in a beautiful, like white marble wall. It's a really quiet place. There's a lot of... When I was there were old men there that were probably on the Arizona. Were there to visit, their buddies or their past shipmates. It's a gorgeous place. It's really somber, though.
So it's a recommend, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you gotta go there. You gotta go there if you go out to Honolulu.
And how long of a boat ride is it to get out there?
The boat ride's pretty quick. I want to maybe 5 or 10 minutes. You watch a movie before you go out there. You go in like an IMAX deal and you watch a movie that tells you about what happened and how sacred that memorial is and how there's still like 3,000 sailors that are on the ship that never made it out.
That's cool, man. That's one thing I got to try. I think that's on the bucket list for sure, is to get to Hawaii.
And the flight's not terrible. You definitely want to bring something to do. I usually go ahead and pay for the internet package on the plane just so I can keep myself occupied.
Yeah, for sure. So, as you're out in Hawaii, do you try like some of the authentic Hawaiian food?
You got to do that. You've got to get some Kalua pork.
What is that? Describe it to me.
That's
Obviously,
where
pork.
They take a pig and they wrap it in a banana leaf, and then they put it over hot coals down in a hole, and they bury it in the ground. So what it basically does is slow cooks it. So it's just the Hawaiian way of, back before they had primitive electricity and stuff. It was a Hawaiian crock pot kind of thing.
Nice.
But it's real tender, and the way they season it's just amazing.
What else did you do? What's one of your most recommended memories that you remember from Honolulu?
Gosh, Waikiki is a gorgeous area. There's a lot to do. It's kind of more like nightclubby and lots of big resorts. We stayed at the Outrigger, which was a nice place. I'd definitely recommend it. There's a really cool beach bar at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. And you can get a pineapple daiquiri there, where they actually take a whole pineapple and hollow it out and make the pineapple daiquiri right inside that. And then they give you a bowl and they put whatever they took out of the pineapple in this bowl. And the pineapples that they grow out there you haven't had a pineapple until you get one in Hawaii. It's like candy.
One of our favorite pineapples is like going to, you go to Tucano's in the Springs, but up here we go to either Fogo de Chao or Rodizio Grill, which is very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And they do a grilled pineapple and honey.
Yeah, that is good. Those are awesome.
It is amazing.
Really.
Going back, and so how expensive is it to be in Hawaii?
Everything in Hawaii is expensive. I mean, everything from housing to the things you do to groceries. It's ridiculous.
Gas is like just as much, if not more, than California.
Oh yeah, it's right on par with Cal. I can't remember what we paid last time, but it was like $5 or $6 a gallon. It was crazy.
When was the last time you were there?
Gosh, it was like the October before last.
Dude, I feel like you go like every fall.
If I had it my way, we would.
What do you think is the best time of year to go? Summer? Fall?
It really doesn't matter when you go. If you want to go see the whales, you can go whale watching out there. You want to do that in the wintertime. But the weather is always the same.
You mean Biden hasn't made all the whale huts out there? Save the whales? Yeah, we're going to save the whales.
Well, hopefully we're saving them anyway, but I don't think the whales would want to stay in one of his huts if they're smart. But anyway, the weather's the same all year round. I mean, it's between 75 and 85 degrees all year round. It never really changes much. It's the humidity's up there because you're on an island. The nights are nice and warm. I mean, you can walk around wearing shorts and a t-shirt. It never gets cold. It'll rain a lot. It rains off and on all day, but maybe 5-10 minutes, and it's warm, so it doesn't really bother you much.
Right. I know you guys are the big swimming families, and you guys like snorkeling, so were there any good snorkels you guys did while you were out there?
Snorkeling's really good. I did one in Maui on Poipu Beach the first time we were out there.
Well, good. Let's switch to Maui.
Yeah, Maui. Maui's where it's at for snorkeling for sure.
Okay, so tell me about the snorkel adventure in Maui.
The turtles, sea turtles everywhere. Turtles are huge in Hawaii. I mean, it's a big thing. You're allowed to watch them. They don't want you getting too close to them or touching them, but you can, when I did it, I could swim right up to them. They were within 4 feet away from me, just watching them. And a lot like the Caribbean, there's a lot of different color fish and beautiful coral and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember I've seen sea turtles when I went to Cancun, and we went on a parasail. I don't know if you've ever done a parasail. I would
Never have. That's definitely on the bucket list.
It's so calm, actually, dude. You would think it would be like high wind, like it's actually like very calm, and you get to see. But anyways, when you're up in the parasail and out in Cancun, the water, you get that kind of blue water we talked about last episode, where you're up parasailing and you see like fish and all the sea turtles swimming down below you, and I mean, you could see them all over the place.
Oh, I can imagine the color of the water is spectacular from that height too.
Absolutely. So back to Maui, what was there any good beaches you'd recommend in Maui?
Poipu, you definitely want to go to Poipu Beach. That's really the only one I've been to. Maui's a nice. It's not as touristy, but it's still a big tourist destination. But it's not as busy as like Oahu, where Honolulu is.
But Maui, though, from what I see, is you can more or less go on more adventures. Would that be right?
Yeah. So
like, you can go see a waterfall or a hike or.
Yeah, we went and did Waimea Falls, and it's Waimea Valley, and it's like a ecological park you can go to, and we did a luau there, so you get to watch them do the fire dancing and hula, and they feed you dinner, but there's a big waterfall that comes down at the end of that valley, and you can swim in there in the pond or the basin that waterfall comes into. It's all fresh water. It's a little bit cooler than the ocean, but definitely worth doing. It's a gorgeous hike. It reminds me a lot of Jurassic Park, when you see the helicopter come in to land and the waterfalls there. That's a lot what it's like.
So, in a lot of places I hear, like Hawaii, they can get still all 4 seasons there because they got great high mountain peaks too. So is that in Maui?
No, not so much of the high mountain peaks. They get a lot of rain in Maui. Now, I know on the Big Island, you can actually go snow skiing there. There's snow. There's a ski resort.
And when you say Big Island, name that island.
Hilo. I guess. Well, the town is Hilo. The island is Hawaii, the main island. But yeah, there's a ski resort there. That's a really diverse island. They have everything from rainforest to skiing to areas of it that look just like eastern Colorado.
Oh yeah. So, and I'm just curious, as you say, the waterfall in Maui, like, how much water can actually be there to make waterfalls and, from fresh water in Maui?
The amount of rain that they get there, there's, and I think it's in Maui too, you can go to, and it's a section of rainforest. It's the wettest place on earth. It rains so much there.
And it's so surprising because they just had that big fire out there.
Yeah. I mean, and
people were actually saying it was really dry.
Yeah, and that was kind of out, that was Lahaina town. It was on the same side of the island I stayed at last time. But yeah, and it was dry. It's kind of ironic to think that you have all that water right on the coastline, and Lahaina's right on the coastline, and it burned the whole town down.
Now that was where, going a little off topic, you and I, so for people who don't know, Kurtis and I we mess around on Flight Simulator a little bit. Didn't we fly around that and you were showing me that?
We did, yeah. Historic Lahaina town.
So you were like, yeah, I stayed there and at this hotel. And for those who don't know, Flight Simulator is pretty realistic. You can fly like a plane.
On the new one's insane with the amount of detail that looks real to life.
So we're old men being boys again. Because we didn't get video games that good when we were growing up.
Flying F-18s around Hawaii, and it's fun. A good time. I mean, what do you say?
Yeah. So back to that Hawaiian dance. Did you dress up just like them? I could see you out there, man. Honestly, like I can picture you in the outfit out there, doing.
I wore a hula shirt, a Hawaiian button, one of the button-down shirts with palm trees on it and stuff.
You got a picture of this? Because I need to see proof.
I do somewhere. Maybe I'll have to post it up on social media.
You should.
We actually did a wedding. My wife's niece got married out there. And, well, this was in Honolulu. They got married on Waikiki Beach, and it was hula shirts and flip-flops and shorts. It was the most casual, cool wedding.
Yeah, you're making me want to go. So I'm glad
Yeah,
Southwest now is flying that way.
Yeah, we've always took a direct flight out of the Springs and went to straight to either Las Vegas, Los Angeles, or where was the last time? Phoenix. If I was going to fly out of there and I could pick anywhere to have the layover, it would be in Los Angeles, though. From Phoenix, you fly from the Springs down to Phoenix, and then from Phoenix to Hawaii, it's like a 6-hour flight. So it's nice to have the layover in there so you can get off the plane and stretch your legs before you go on that long haul.
Yeah, you could get blown out tires or something and have to step off
Yeah,
the plane.
it could be like a bachelor party all over again.
Man, did we ever tell that story? I think we did.
I think we did. We can touch on it again if you want. I mean, people probably need to hear that one.
So Curtis and I were getting ready to go to Las Vegas, right? And I found flights because since I'm in the Denver metro area and he's down in the Springs, I found a flight from Denver that laid over in Colorado Springs and then straight to Vegas. And so I was like, dude, I'll just get on this flight. I'll go to the Springs, pick you up, and we'll go to Vegas, right? And so he matched up with the flight with me. And I was like, all right, cool. So I head out to DIA, and I'm boarding this flight. And as we're getting ready to push back, they come on the announcements, and they're like, all right, we got to go back in because we got like some engine malfunction. And I'm like, this isn't good. And this whole time, I was talking shit because it was a 737-800 MAX, right? Because those were the new planes that were going down all the way around the world. And so as we booked this plane, I was like, dude, it's the plane. And this was the one that they just put back in service after investigating all this. And
and it was after COVID when they parked all them planes because nobody was flying.
Yeah. And so we're pushing back, and they're like, all right, we got an engine malfunction. So I'm texting this guy, and I'm like, hey, can't leave, got an engine malfunction. And he's like, you're so full of shit. I see you push back, and this guy's eyeing me on the flight tracker. He's watching the plane get pushed back, and I'm like, no, for real. And so that put I don't know, what was it, 30 minutes behind or something like that?
Yeah, it was bad.
And so I finally get pushed back and start working towards the Springs, and we take off. And that was the most turbulent ride I've ever been on. And I bet we were only 4,000 feet off the ground the whole time, because you're talking 63 nautical miles in flight simulator terms. From DIA.
Now, does it make you wonder if there was more wrong with the plane than they were telling you?
Maybe. Maybe. So anyways, I'm on this rocky son of a bitch all the way to the Springs, holding on for life, and I'm just like this the whole time. And I think I even turned on the Wi-Fi just so I could just bullshit with you. And I'm like, all right, we're coming in, landing. He's like, yep, see ya.
In the meantime, I'm sitting there at the gate waiting for the plane so I can board.
Yeah, and you got there early, 2 hours early, and tell them about your security experience through Colorado Springs, how simple it is.
I love flying out of the Springs. If I can keep from flying out of Denver, I will gladly pay more to fly out of the Springs. Security, you can get through security on a bad day in 15, 20 minutes maybe.
You can walk through.
But most of the time it's like 5 minutes, real short line, real quick getting through there.
Yep. And so as I'm landing and we taxi in, you don't notice anything, but we taxi all the way in and we get to the gate, and I'm sitting there waiting. And, with Southwest being open seating, they were like, please wait till everyone gets off if you want to move seats. So I'm sitting there waiting, and you're watching people come out, and one of the flight attendants comes on and goes, sorry, but we're going to have to ask you to get off the plane. And she's like, we've got a flat tire. And so I'm texting this guy, and I'm like, hey, they're having me to board this plane because we got a flat tire. And the whole time he thought I was fucking with her so bad.
I'm like, you're so full of shit. I'm looking at the plane out the window. I don't see any flat tires.
And so I'm like, no, man, they said we got a flat and we got to get off. And he's like, no, you're not. And I'm like, okay. So I walk off the plane and I find him and his eyes just got all real big. He's like, you weren't fucking with me. And I was like, no, I wasn't
Apparently,
fucking with you.
parked out in the Phoenix desert, during COVID, the tires might have got a little dry rot, I think.
Yeah. And so you and I go look out the window and it had 2 flat tires, if I remember right. Didn't it?
And then we asked them, how much longer is it going to be? Well, we're going to fly a couple tires in out of Phoenix.
Yeah, or
and
they
that
couldn't
plane,
get them because they don't keep them. They don't keep parts in the springs for it. They keep them either in Denver or I think they were waiting for it to come down from Denver.
Yeah, I mean, I had to fly from Denver to Phoenix and then from Phoenix to the spring. It was something weird.
Yeah, and so, anyways, in between, you and I found a bar.
Yeah, a little homemade setup bar that was in the middle of the concourse there.
And we ended up getting like 2 hours of nothing to do, so we sat in this little setup mini bar. And Kurtis and I, when we drink, we usually drink Coors Light together. And Kurtis walks up to the bartender and goes, "Can I get a Coors Light?" And she goes, "Nah, I don't have any."
We're all out. There was something about me that bitch did not like, I promise you. I don't know what it was.
What beer did you end up getting, both of us, because of that?
It was like a Stella Artois or some weird
Yeah.
thing that I never drink.
So we drank our beer there that he got us, and I was like, all right, I'll buy this next round. And so I walk up next to the same bartender, and I go, "Hey, can I have a Coors Light?" And she opened the fridge and goes, "Here you go."
I don't know what you offered her, but it was definitely more than whatever that beer was worth.
And so that ain't the first time that's happened to us either.
No, it seems to happen all the time, but you just must have that touch.
It must be the blue eyes, dude. Those Irish blues.
Well,
I got.
and remember, then we went from that one over to the Bristol Tap House.
Because that one closed, huh?
Yeah, they closed. And, we were supposed to be in Vegas at wasn't it like 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and we didn't end up getting in there until 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night or something.
Yeah, it was late, and then I remembered this. Instead of waiting for them to change the tires on the plane we were supposed to get on, since the Phoenix plane came in, they gave us the Phoenix plane to take out, and they go, "We're hijacking this plane instead of waiting for tires to come in," and so we took the Phoenix plane to Vegas.
I remember that because we just happened to go check on our flight, and the Phoenix flight that came in from Phoenix to Vegas was actually boarding, and we just found out then that they switched us.
Yeah, we got on late, and we were like, shit. But you and I were so buzzed at that time.
God, I think I have a video of you where I was walking behind you, and I was just filming you swaggering back and forth down the terminal.
Yeah, you got me good there, asshole.
Maybe we'll post that one up on TikTok. That'd get some likes.
Anyways, back on topic here real quick. So, I'm switching back before you talk about my drunken escapades down the Colorado Springs airport.
Another time, maybe.
Another time. So, if you were to go to Hawaii again,
Mm-hmm.
where would you go and why?
I think I would want to go to the island of Kauai. It's a lot like Maui. It's a lot less touristy. It's a little bit more low-key. Still got some gorgeous beaches there. Lush rainforest, it's just more low-key.
Just away from all the people and heavy traffic areas, just to be at the beach and warm.
The island of Kauai is actually famous for chickens. They've got...
That's what I've heard. I've heard
wild
Hawaii has
chickens.
Just a lot of chickens at Rome.
And you know why that is? Because when we were exploring those islands, I don't know if it was us, but Captain Cook actually brought the chickens in as supplies on the ship, and they started raising chickens there. And these chickens then became wild. So they've populated in such a way they're actually protected now.
Really? So that's the only wild animals they got roaming Hawaii?
No, it's wild chickens. They have wild animals everywhere, but...
Do they? They don't have snakes
wild
and stuff,
pigs.
though.
Wild pigs and all kinds of crazy.
They all had to be brought there.
Yeah, I think a lot of them were brought there from the explorers. And
that's my point, though, right? So, the moment you bring snakes in and stuff there, then they're going to populate.
Yeah, I guess.
Look at Florida and the pythons and the great Everglades.
I know. And the iguanas and all kinds of crazy stuff there. Yeah, and they have, and it's not on Maui, but on the Big Island, they have a state park there called Ironwood Park. And it's got these huge trees, and they're super tall, but the trees are perfect. The trunks are perfectly straight. And it's because they planted those trees there so that they could make ship masts out of them. And, again, they spread, and now you've got ironwood trees everywhere.
Nice. Yep. And so the big island, that's Hilo? That's when you say Hilo?
Yeah, there's a town of Hilos on the Big Island. The Big Island is called Hawaii.
See, that's stuff you're educating me about, correcting me on, because I've never been.
And on the island of Honolulu is where the Dole Plantation is, where they grow pineapples. You can go take a tour of it and spend a whole day there if you want.
Dude, I bet they got the best Dole Whip.
Dude, they've got the best, yeah. Anything that grows there is amazing.
Yeah, and on Kauai, so in Kauai, I assume you've explored Kauai then a little bit out of the places you've been in Hawaii.
A little bit. We were there for a day on our first trip.
Was that the cruise?
That was the cruise we went on. That's what ruined my wife on the cruises, so.
And so what did you see when you got off the ship? Because obviously you're only limited to, 5-6 hours of sightseeing.
Yeah, so, we went and walked around a town, did some souvenir shopping, got in the water a little bit.
Yeah, because I hear there's some good trails back in there to go see, too.
There's a lot of trails in Kauai. Lots. There's a lot more to do than I had time to see there. So I'd like to go back and just, be able to explore the whole island and experience it a little bit more.
Maybe you'll invite me. I don't know. Usually I don't get invited.
Yeah, I invited you to go to stay at an Airbnb in Florida with us.
That is yet to be booked.
It'll get booked.
I'm waiting.
I'm taking 2 weeks off in June.
Yeah, I'm sitting here. I'm waiting to rent a car so I know where I'm driving to. That's all I got to pay for, buddy.
I wish I could say the same thing. I got to get mine paid off too, but it'll happen. It'll happen.
All right. Well, thank you for correcting me on Hawaii today, homie.
Absolutely, man. Make sure you get to experience it sometime. Bring your little girl out there so she can see it.
That's who I'm going to have to bring.
Now,
all right.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to ask you, what part of Florida have you been to? I know you've been to Orlando and you've been down to Miami.
That's it. Oh, no. I've been, take that back, sorry. I've been Southwest Florida, so the west side. Oh gosh, now I can't even think of this name. It's like an old retirement town south of St. Pete and Tampa. It's not Naples. You're gonna make me look it up.
Now you got to.
You know where I'm talking about? They just had that big hurricane come through there a couple years ago and destroyed the whole place.
Let's see. You've got Tampa. You've got Clearwater, St. Pete.
South of there.
There's Naples. There's
even a little bit south. It's a big name.
I kind of remember when you went there. Now that you mentioned that,
and honestly,
I can't remember what it's called.
It's Fort Myers.
Okay.
So Fort Myers has really good beaches, man. Really good beaches.
Okay.
Excuse me, I said Naples is south of Fort Myers. Naples is south of Fort Myers, where Fort Myers is north.
Okay.
And so when you get south of Naples, you're in that whole Everglades National Park area after that.
So it's way down. It's closer to Miami.
Yeah, but on the west side, not the east side. So
right.
I-75 runs straight and west from Fort Lauderdale, which is basically Miami, to Naples.
Okay.
And so Fort Myers, I would go back to in a heartbeat. It's like the Springs. Honestly, it's a town that's probably like the Springs type size.
Just kind of laid back. They got the nice white sand.
Yep. Beaches were perfect. I would go back there and chill in a heartbeat. And then St. Pete.
I love St. Pete.
Yeah. I'd totally recommend St. Pete as well. Like we went last year and the year before, and I went to Clearwater. I heard Clearwater is one of the best beaches, but I was still
not that
disappointed compared to like St. Pete Beach.
Yeah. Siesta Key is gorgeous too, and it's right outside of the Sarasota area. It was actually at one time rated the best beach in America.
Yeah, and that's one place you told me to try and get. I just didn't have the time.
Yeah. St. Pete, I mean, they're all anywhere down on the Gulf Coast of Florida is a really nice beach, I
To
think.
me,
I've never been to a bad one.
you can't beat that water in the U.S. anywhere. Right there in the
No,
whole
it's
area.
so warm and clear, and
Yeah, and the waves are minimal, so you're not getting knocked on your ass if you want to get out there.
very much.
So, yeah, that's where I've been in Florida. And then, I mean, we went to South Beach last year for a little bit, and I mean, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. Like,
Hmm.
not my type of beach though.
Yeah, I liked Miami Beach. I like, like in the Keys, the beaches aren't that nice. The sand's not nice, but the water's really clear, and that's what I like.
Yeah, you don't beat the clear water anywhere. Anywhere you get clear water, I mean, that's
Yeah, very much. I mean, it's nice to, if you're into swimming around in warm water and snorkeling and stuff like that, it's definitely worth it.
yeah. I don't think you're snorkeling in the Gulf on the southwest side. I mean, the water's a little.
A little bit. Might run into a croc down there.
A good old crack in the salt water. Yeah, that's what I always wonder about, dude, because you're loaded with the alligators in the fresh water, but then the crocs are known to be in the salt water, right? So like you can't see in there, so do you got to worry about a croc or a shark?
I think I would worry more about the sharks than I would a crocodile. Now, I mean, if you're in like the Everglades, I think I'd worry about that, but on a beach, I'd probably worry about the sharks more.
All right, buddy. Till next week, we get corrected again.
All right, man. Well, that was another good show down on the books. Make sure to check us out on social media: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Now, YouTube is a good one.
Absolutely. And I mean, if there's anything you guys want to know about the state of Colorado too, I mean, we're still getting around to those topics as well because we're just trying to switch it up a little bit. The boys from
Absolutely.
Colorado.
And we're always looking for somebody to interview to get on here and chew the fat with and learn about something new. And maybe you've got a place you've traveled that neither of us have been to. Let's throw it out there. We want to hear about it.
Absolutely. All right.
All right, man. I think we got corrected. Have a good afternoon, huh?
You do the same.
Later.